Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about this thing that I'm doing now. Um, I've realized more and more, I think this last year, how much loving myself is absolutely critical to my being able to inhabit myself more and more. And I've it's kind of like, to me, I feel like loving yourself is like kind of like, I guess you would say, almost like gardening or farming. Like, you can have the greatest plants in the world, but if the soil isn't great, they're not going to thrive. They're not going to grow. And I think that loving yourself is very much like that. Like, I think it's like the more we love ourselves, it's like the easier it is in life to do things, to make the right choices, to make the right decisions, to react to people in the right way or in a better way or healthier way, or to deal with people that may not be a fit or may not be a part of our lives, in an easier way. I can't even tell you how the more I've focused on loving myself, how much more manageable and easier life just is, to handle and go through and stuff like that. So anyway, so because it's the holidays that are upon us, and as you know, I am not going to be with my family. I'm going to be here in my town, spending a good portion of it probably by myself. I really want to focus this season on just really getting deeper into the whole loving myself and taking that on, and what does that mean, and really focusing in on doing that kind of healing and stuff like that I think I would really need. So then that way by like 2016, New Year's Day, I'm just a mother, and then just more amped up, more full and inhabiting myself kind of person, and stuff like that. So anyway, so I found this great article about loving yourself and just kind of like 6 things that it takes to love yourself. And I'm just going to focus on one a week and just kind of go through it and stuff like that, and just let things kind of come and open up and, and happen, throughout my day or, week or whatever. So the first one is forgiving yourself. I think that's obviously huge. I think that, while I know we get really angry and get definitely very focused on like what's wrong with other people, specifically our moms, I think that underneath that there's definitely the anger that we have, or bitterness that we have at ourselves. Especially because growing up with a BPD mom, like, you were taught that that there's something wrong with you from the get-go, and I think that you're taught that you're already disappointing as a person. So I think the idea of forgiving yourself has to be something that we have to learn to do as a muscle and as a practice on a regular basis, in order for us to be able to move forward. And yeah, so anyway, so I'm literally going to read to you from my journal. I spent some really great time doing that this weekend, just working on like, what are things I need to just let go of in myself? What are things that I still kind of like blame myself for, or still harbor about things that I've done, that I just need to release and let go of. And so then that way, as I move forward with life, it's just a lot easier, to handle and stuff. So anyway, yeah, because I think the thing that is important to able to move forward and to transform and to become more who you are is being able to start fresh and start new and let go of the old, and stuff like that. It's kind of like going back to that whole like garden, analogy. It's like clearing out the dead, it's clearing out the old stuff. And I think that it's easy, like I said, to focus in on like what other people are doing, that are hurting us. But really, like when you really get into the soil, that's us. And that's our responsibility to take care of and our stuff to let go of. And so, yeah, so this is the stuff that I'm working on letting go of. Moving forward and stuff. So, all right. So forgiving myself. I am forgiving myself for taking this long to see that I needed to go no contact with my family. For not loving myself well over the years, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, socially, all those kind of factors. I am forgiving myself for contributing to the pain. Sorry, I might cry. For contributing to the pain and drama of my family, which hurt my siblings and my parents. I think that that's true. Like, we play a part in it as well. Like it's not all mom's fault. Like we also contribute into the drama and stuff. Whether it's through being judgmental or being just childish, in our response to them and stuff like that, and so so that's something that I'm also forgiving myself for. So, yeah, and I'm forgiving myself for my, financial struggles and debt, for my emotional eating and, the disorder that I've, have struggled with, and stuff like that. Though it's under control right now. Yay. I'm so excited. For my self-hate talk, I adopted the self-hate talk from my mom, of course. Or from the influences around me, because I grew up with a BPD mom. But that's still mine to deal with and for me to own and for me to forgive myself for doing, So, I forgive myself for being so hard on myself, working too much to receive so little. That's just part of growing up. My mom's BPD manifests as the victim in life, the martyr. And so, of course, I adopted like some of those approaches from her and stuff like that. So, and so therefore, yeah, for caring for others more than myself, I don't think you should care for others more than yourself. I think you should care for yourself and equal to others. So, for not taking care of my health better, for forcing myself to believe things about God, the world, and other people that ultimately hurt people and myself, or was just totally ineffective and a waste of time. Yeah. I forgive myself for isolating when I needed support, for being afraid to trust, be vulnerable, and for being dependent on people when I shouldn't have been. For depending on others to define or grant me value, that their approval matters, in my life. I think people are lessons in our lives. I think people are opportunities for us to grow or to enjoy life. But, I've definitely learned that, other people's opinions and how they judge or view me or define me does not mean nearly as much as how I define myself, and how, for me, because I am a spiritual person, how I feel like God defines me too and stuff. So anyway, yeah, so I can't believe how long it's taken for me to go, wait, what do I think about me? Skip what other people think. What do I think? Because that's really what matters the most. And if I have any bitterness, then I need to be forgiving myself for that, and stuff. So, for ignoring my needs, I forgive myself. For ignoring my needs, my instincts, and need to love myself more. I've ignored that. I feel like there's been this little 8-year-old version of me inside of me that's been I need this, I need that, and I've ignored her. And, so I'm not doing that as much anymore. I'm working on letting myself off the hook about that. I forgive myself for seeking perfection and not just loving, honoring, and just being the real me. I think that's another part of it too. This whole concept of perfection is something that has usually been drawn up by someone outside of who I am, outside of me. Of course, my mom was the first. And then because of the way I grew up with her, I know when I got into religion, for me, then I got this whole other picture of what it meant to be perfect. And, from my own perception that I couldn't, of course, attain and stuff. And then on top of that, then just kind of like my own, like focusing on being perfect rather than just being me and just the perfection of growing, and stuff like that. So I'm letting myself off the hook for that too. Yeah, because I think this is the thing, and I like that I wrote this, is that the past is behind me, that what I've done and like what I've struggled with, it's, the things that I've done, in action and in word or whatever behavior, it's all behind me, like today is new. And, like I can choose to be bitter at myself or get mad at myself or things like that, or I can choose to be gracious and forgiving and things like that. And, like that came into play yesterday because my best friend's getting married on Saturday. And so me and a friend threw her bridal shower, and, we're sitting around chatting, and, and everyone at this point at the bridal shower is married and stuff. And, so they're all talking about like, how, because we're going up to a special retreat place for her wedding. And, so people are talking about how like they're gonna, extend the weekend to go spend time with their husbands, and stuff like that. And, and so of course, like, you're kind of feeling a little bit of, like the odd man out, because it's like, wow, well, okay, well, first, of course, I'm single, but also too, I don't even have the finances to do something like that, and, and it was easy, like instantly that like starting to get uncomfortable because I'm like judging myself about that. And it was really nice because I was like, wait, I forgave myself. Like, I've forgiven myself for this. I'm letting myself off the hook. I'm going to just enjoy this moment with these people and go, that's awesome. Great for you. Good for you for being able to have that time and be able to do those kinds of things. And, and think instead about how, like, I am on my way to that. I'm on my way to meeting someone, to, having, for, he and I to have our own weekends. And of course, I'll be the one who's going to be, paying for it, because by then I'll have my financials all in order. Like that's just such a lovelier way to think, and lovelier way to think about myself and go like, yeah, like I'm moving forward. I'm on my way, and so I can let go of the fact that, of like what choices I've made that has gotten me to this point, and stuff like that. So it's been a really good thing. So I hope this helps. Feel free if you want to do your own confession as well below to write something that you are forgiving yourself for. And, yeah, and feel free to just go along with this if you want to. Like I just think for the next 6 weeks, focusing in on loving ourselves a little bit more will definitely help, especially as we are dealing with the holidays and the drama and tension that normally comes up in dysfunctional families and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah. And if you have any other ideas or things that you would like me to talk about, or want to bring up yourself, please feel free to just put it in the comments below. So you guys have a great day. Thanks.